Before God elevates you, He will test you with these 10 things. Before every promotion from God, before the door opens, before the calling becomes visible, there is a season of divine testing. Not to destroy, but to prepare. Not to delay, but to develop. God tests what He intends to trust. The test of patience. Nothing stretches the soul like waiting, not knowing when or how or even if the promise will come. You've prayed, you've fasted, you've obeyed, and still, silence, delay. Waiting. This is not punishment, it's preparation. God is doing something in you before He does something for you. David was anointed king and then sent back to the pasture. Joseph dreamed of greatness and then was thrown into a prison. Why? Because what you become during the wait is more important than what you get after it. But those who wait on the Lord shall renew their strength. 2. The test of obedience. God will test whether you can obey Him when it costs you something, when His instructions don't make sense, when they go against logic, comfort, and sometimes even your own desires. Can you obey when it's uncomfortable? Noah built an ark before rain existed. Abraham walked up the mountain to sacrifice the very son he waited years for. Peter stepped out of the boat into a storm. Obedience isn't just about following instructions. It's about surrendering control. The test of character. God won't elevate someone whose private life can't carry the weight of public favor. Before He increases visibility, He will examine integrity. This is the test of who you are when no one is watching. How do you handle pressure? Do you cut corners when it's convenient? Do you lie when it saves your reputation? Talent can open a door, but only character can keep it open. Don't rush to be seen. Be refined, be trusted. 4. The test of letting go. There comes a time when God asks, "Will you lay this down for me?" It could be a relationship, a career path, an opportunity, or even a dream. Letting go isn't always a loss, sometimes it's an exchange. What you refuse to surrender becomes an idol, but what you release to God, He either returns in power or replaces with something better. Abraham passed this test on Mount Moriah and walked back down with the covenant of nations. Whoever loses their life for my sake will find it. The test of silence. There is a silence only those close to God will understand. When prayers feel unanswered, when worship feels dry, when the presence you once felt now seems hidden. This is the wilderness, the desert. Even Jesus experienced it, in the 40 days of fasting and again on the cross. But silence is not absence. It's the test of trust. Can you walk with God when you can't hear Him? Can you worship Him when He's quiet? Silence proves maturity, not distance. The test of rejection. Rejection is painful, especially when it comes from people close. But sometimes God allows people to walk away so your destiny can move forward. Joseph was rejected by his brothers. David was rejected by his family. Jesus was rejected by His own people. Don't fight every closed door. Some rejections are redirections. Some exits are exits to elevate you. God knows who can go with you and who can't. The test of faithfulness. In small things before God gives more, He watches how the little is handled. Faithfulness is not about how much you have, but how well you steward it. Can you preach to 5 like you would preach to 5,000? Can you serve with excellence even when no one applauds? Many want the microphone, but few are willing to mop the floor. Many want a stage, but haven't learned to build an altar in secret. God promotes those who honor the unseen seasons. Well done, good and faithful servant. You were faithful with a few things. 8. The test of isolation. Sometimes the call of God will separate you. Friends disappear. The phone stops ringing. Conversations grow dry, not because you're forgotten, but because you're being formed. In isolation, you discover who God really is and who you really are. Moses was alone on the mountain. John was alone on Patmos. Jesus often withdrew to lonely places. Aloneness is not always loneliness. Sometimes it's alignment. The test of temptation. Before elevation, the enemy will attack your purity, your morals, your discipline, your humility. Can you resist what is easy, quick, or flattering? Jesus was tempted in the wilderness, not after He was promoted, but before. Because temptation is a doorway. Fall into it and you forfeit trust. Overcome it and God releases authority. Submit to God. Resist the devil and he will flee from you. 10. The test of identity. Before destiny is released, identity is challenged. The enemy always starts with this: if you're really called, or if God really loved you, if you were anointed. Jesus heard it too in the wilderness. If you are the Son of God. When you don't know who you are, the world will try to name you. But God's elevation requires you to be rooted in His voice. Not public opinion, not comparison, not fear. Your identity in Christ is your weapon. Never forget it. These 10 tests are not meant to break you. They are meant to shape you. God is preparing someone right now, someone watching this, and not just for promotion, but for purpose. If the fire feels hot, if the silence feels long, if the test feels heavy, know this: your elevation is on the other side of your endurance. And what God has for you is worth every test. Has this message confirmed what you've been going through? Comment below. Lord, I'm ready. Test me, prepare me. Like this video, subscribe for more messages like this, and share it with someone who's in their wilderness. Their promised land might be closer than they know.